when a young couple disappears without a trace. Their small southern town springs into action.
It was a very good relationship. Like, I've never seen any signs of anything other than, them two loving on each other.
So you're saying this odd for her behavior? I promise you, this is very odd.
The desperate search reveals shocking secrets lurking beneath a glowing facade.
They did argue quite often about other men and him with other girls.
He said, he's saying that this may not be his baby. And I was like, what?
I kind of figured, hey, this probably him.
The suspect bolts and runs down to the lake.
I could tell how he was looking that, it was bad.
Kelly?
Everybody started crying, so I knew then something happened to her.
He stated that a dark cloud had came over him.
She had told him, the baby's here. Why are you doing this?
Even as being a prosecutor for many years, I was still shocked.
March 22nd, 2022. It's just before 9 p.m. in rural Forsyth, Georgia.
Forsyth is a small town about an hour south of Atlanta. It's a very warm and hospitable place, very family-oriented.
Like many Forsyth residents at this time of year, Willie and Latasha Proctor are at home enjoying March Madness.
Me and my wife was sitting, looking at a basketball game, and her phone rang. I look down at it, and I see it's Tori.
Oh, Tori's coming over.
Okay. Their 21-year-old daughter, Toriana, said she was coming over to spend the night.
Tori and her fiancé, Jadarius, had a 1-month-old baby girl at home.
From time to time, she would stay with her parents as she just adjusts to her new lifestyle.
So her parents expected Toriana and the baby home within about 30 minutes or so.
But when an hour passes with no sign of Toriana, her parents assume she changed her mind. That's when Latasha gets a call.
My phone rang. It was like 10, and I went to answer the phone.
Hey, Tori, you still coming? Phone went dead.
And then it just hung up. I was thinking her cell phone died or whatnot, so I tried to call her back, and it just kept ringing.
Still going to voicemail.
I'll try texting her.
I texted her a couple of times, didn't get no answer back. So my wife said, well, maybe when she get where she going, she probably call us back.
But another hour passes, and Toriana still hasn't shown up when Latasha receives a second call.
This time, the phone call is coming from Tori's fiance's mom. Have you heard from Tori or Jadarius?
Jadarius' mother explains that her son dropped off their newborn baby at her home in Macon that evening, but she hasn't heard from him since.
She was like, the baby don't have any milk.
Okay, we'll be right there.
In that instant, I told my husband, we jumped up.
What's wrong?
I just had a bad feeling there, because I know Tori always prepared.
The middle child of 3 siblings, 21-year-old Toriana Proctor loved having family close by.
She was a daddy girl. Everywhere I went, she wanted to be with me. Even out when me and my son practicing football, she wanted to be right there.
Vivacious, outgoing, and smart, Toriana was known for her quick wit.
Just being around her, she's gonna crack a joke. She's gonna keep you laughing regardless of what's going on.
Her laugh was very contagious.
From a young age, Toriana was also a standout athlete.
She was great in softball. I used to have parents all the time come up to me and ask me, where did Tori get her training at? And I would tell them all the time, just me and her.
She was just that girl that took pride in herself and also wanted to bring some type of joy to anybody that she was around.
But nothing made Toriana happier than spending time with her high school sweetheart, Jadarius Quez Watts.
I grew up knowing Jadarius as well, as we like to call him, as Quez. He was very shy, but he was a very sweet person.
Honestly, it was like love at first sight with him. It was definitely like, that's my boo. And I loved it for her because I know she had a lot of love to give.
She loved herself some Jadarius. On the phone all time of night and first thing in the morning on the phone with him, you know, just that puppy love, very much so puppy love.
In the summer of 2021, Toriana and Jadarius found out they were pregnant with their baby girl.
He said, Dad, I got something to tell you. And she told me that she was pregnant, and I told her, I'm going to be there for you. Whatever you need me to do, that's what I do.
She did everything the doctor told her to do. She started preparing for it, buying this, buying that. She always wanted to be prepared for whatever came.
She was very excited, and I knew she was going to be the best mom.
With a baby on the way, the couple was ready to make one more big commitment. Later that year, Jadarius proposed.
She sent me a picture and said, I said yes. She was very happy.
That was one of the things that she always wanted, marriage, a family.
He expressed to me all the time, you know, how he felt about Tori. Trying to make sure that, you know, Tori is taken care of.
In February 2022, Toriana and Jadarius welcomed their daughter, Nalani.
Becoming parents was a huge adjustment for them, but it seemed like they were making it work and approaching things as a team.
They had big dreams. They was doing the best that they could to grow and figure love out.
But now Tori is missing, and her parents have just learned that baby Nalani was left with Jadarius' mother without any milk to drink.
We'll be right there. Come on, we gotta go. Latasha and Willie are very concerned because they know that Tori would never do something so irresponsible. That leaves a lot of concern for her parents, so they decide to get in their car and drive 30 minutes to Macon to figure out exactly what's going on.
Thanks so much for coming. She's sleeping right now, but she'll be hungry when she wakes up.
Jadarius' mother tells the Proctors he dropped the baby off around 11 p.m.
She said he had stopped by the house for approximately 2 minutes and dropped the newborn baby off and told his mother that they were out of formula, and then he left.
He didn't give any indication of why he needed his mother to watch the baby or where he was going.
I'm talking with Jadarius' mom, and she's like, I don't know what's going on. Jadarius, he's not answering my phone call.
Tori's parents offer to take the baby back with them to Monroe County and get her some formula on the way.
Back in Forsyth, they do a drive-by by the couple's apartment.
The couple's car, a black sedan, is nowhere to be found.
We call 911 to do a wellness check and just see if they can try to get into the apartment.
Just before 2 a.m., Forsyth police officers meet the Proctors at the apartment complex.
We've been trying to get in touch with her. She had called us earlier and told us that she was on her way home. So she don't live here. Back and forth.
Tori's parents explained that the pressure of becoming new parents had been a lot for her and Jadarius.
Becoming a mom and actually birthing a child, it shifted her mindset. Like, it's not just me and what I can settle and deal with. I want the best for my child.
I didn't try to pry too much. I'm like, you're more than welcome. My house is always open to any of my children.
The parents tell the police that there is no sign of the car. They also inform them that neither of them have been answering their phones.
It's just not like her. Yeah.
Can police locate the missing couple before it's too late?
So then it really just kicked in. Hey, we gotta find her. Something really wrong.
Wait, they found them?
21-year-old Toriana Proctor had just started a family with her high school sweetheart turned fiancé, Jadarius Watts, in rural Forsyth, Georgia.
She definitely wanted a kid. She wanted a few of them. She definitely wanted to be married, and I was so happy. Like, she was happy.
But now, both Toriana and Jadarius are missing. And even though it's only been a few hours, her family has connected with Forsyth police, telling them something seems dreadfully wrong.
It's just not like her.
Yeah.
To leave her baby.
Sharing their concerns, officers trek up to the second-floor apartment and knock on the door.
841 North. See if you have a 21 for this apartment.
Stand up.
They knocked on the door and said, nobody answering.
So you're saying this odd for her behavior?
I promise you, this is very odd.
Me and my wife kept telling her, no, this is not like Tori. You know, if we calling her, she calling us right back.
However, Forsyth police tell Tori's parents there's nothing more they can do for now.
They told us by the fact that Tori was an adult, that adult can be missing. They was like, she old enough to be gone if she want to.
They tell the parents that they have to wait a full 24 hours before they can do a true missing persons investigation.
And it started drizzling, raining, and we have a 1-month-old baby in the car. Like, we got to get her home, get her out this weather.
Tori's parents return home, determined to continue the search on their own.
I really felt defeated. Like, what can I do? Who can I call?
Hey, have you seen or heard from Tori today?
The Proctors start calling family and friends.
Okay, well, give me a call if you hear from her.
Her mother had like a little bit of panic in her voice saying, Tori was supposed to come home last night. She didn't come home. Have you heard from her? Is she over here with you? I'm like, So that's when I just called out of work, called my supervisor, said, hey, my friend is missing. I'm just going to go and try to help see what's going on.
I could hear my sister on the phone saying she can't find Tori. I got just like a little tightness in my chest and said a little prayer.
It started getting daybreak. I told my wife then, I said, well, maybe we need to call the sheriff department.
At the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, we don't have a timeline. If you feel that a family member is in need of help, then we're going to help right away.
At 8 a.m., Latasha calls the sheriff's office and explains that her daughter has been missing for nearly 12 hours.
Monroe County officers immediately respond to the Proctor's home to take a statement.
The Proctor family explained to me that their daughter had been missing since yesterday.
Most crimes aren't random, and with missing person cases, typically you start with the people closest to them and then work your way out. So at this point, the police decide that they need to learn everything they can about Tori and Jadarius' relationship.
Everything leading up until a couple months before the baby was born, they were okay. She talked to me. I know she wouldn't tell me everything, but she talked to me to let me, I guess to assure me that everything was okay.
However, as Toriana's due date drew nearer, she made a shocking confession.
She just cried, and she was like, Quez hit me.
After telling her parents she was on the way to their home, Toriana Proctor and her fiancé, Jadarius Watts, have been missing for nearly 12 hours.
In my mind, I was just more so of like, Lord, I know we gonna find her. She gonna be all right. But we was looking, we didn't find the car, we didn't find her, we didn't find him.
And in speaking with Toriana's parents, police are learning that her relationship with Jadarius wasn't as rosy as it looked on the outside.
She was at the end of her pregnancy. She was just crying. I'm like, Tori, what's going on? You okay? And she was like, Quez hit me.
Tori was the person like, what I say, I mean what I say. I'm serious. I stand on what I say. So an incident took place. It wasn't good, you know.
And so I was trying to talk to her. Please, Tori, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And she just cried and just cried and just cried.
Tori's family admits they were surprised by the recent outbursts. They'd known Jadarius for years, and until recently had never seen this angry side of him.
He seemed like, a great guy. Matter of fact, his dad and I are classmates. I knew about them as being, religious people.
Regardless, Toriana's parents encouraged her to take a stand.
So I told her, I want you to get all your stuff and come on back home. And she was like, that's what I'm going to do.
But Toriana couldn't stay away from Jadarius for long.
He called a couple days later or whatnot. They talked, they reconciled, she's back. So it was like a back and forth, back and forth. It was those instances when, he got mad, she got mad, but the next day, they're talking again, all, puppy love again.
After baby Nalani was born, the roller coaster relationship continued.
Jadarius admitted he was having a hard time with the baby. And he thought that maybe the baby wasn't his.
She said, he's saying that this may not be his baby. And I was like, what? I said, long as y'all been together.
Tori was completely heartbroken by this. She insists that she had never given him any reason to believe that she had been unfaithful to him.
This was just something that came out the blue. The whole time that they've been, dealing with each other, this never been an issue.
On March 4th, Toriana became so fed up with the accusations that she decided to take Nalani and move back in with her parents.
She had brought all her clothes home. She had brought all the baby clothes home. She was like, Mom, I'm tired. She said, I'm done.
For 2 weeks, Tori welcomed the help of her parents and the familiarity of her family home, while maintaining a friendly co-parenting relationship with Jadarius.
I could tell she was happy again. She was herself again when she moved back home.
I didn't ask her too many questions because I didn't want her to feel like I was, just meddling in her business. I was happy that her and the baby were there. I knew where they was and I knew they were safe.
But just as things were calming down for Tori, she got a call from Jadarius that his mom was sick and he needed her support.
Jadarius called Tori and let her know that his mom had a stroke.
She said that Quez didn't want to be by himself. She wanted to stay, and console him.
With the baby in tow, Tori spent that night at Jadarius' mother's home in Macon.
His mother had to go to the hospital, so she just wanted to support him, so that's what she did.
The following morning, Jadarius accompanied Tori to her postpartum checkup back in Forsyth.
That next day, she said that he was taking her, to her doctor's appointment. She went to her checkup, and she called FaceTime me on the way back. She was excited, she said they released her.
The parents were really hopeful that this would be a new start for them.
But then, 6 hours later, Toriana sent the text about staying at her parents' house that night.
Oh, Tori's coming over.
Okay.
And although they didn't think much of it at the time, they're now fearing the worst.
Monroe County investigators shared the family's concerns.
The police take descriptions of the couple as well as the car and issue a BOLO.
They also get permission to start tracking Tori's cell phone.
Emergency pings can be conducted at any time when an officer feels there's an exigent circumstance to conduct one.
And in conducting the ping on Toriana's phone, the investigators immediately hit pay dirt.
It was literally 3 to 4 minutes from her house. We had to immediately, take action.
Monroe County Sheriff's deputies are trying to track down missing 21-year-old mother, Toriana Proctor. And they've just traced her cell phone to a location only 5 miles from home.
It was literally 3 to 4 minutes from her house.
It's kind of out in the county, rural area. You had cow pastures and ponds. We all started looking for that phone.
Made up of law enforcement and family, the search party strategically scans the area for any signs of what could have taken Tori off course so close to home.
I was at home with the baby, and it's heart dropping, not knowing, if she's okay, not knowing if I would see her. A lot of thoughts ran through my head.
Just calling her name out, like, Lord, don't let me find her in the woods.
Then, just before noon, officers receive a call from dispatch.
This is Lieutenant Beck.
We were able to get a ping then for Mr. Watts' cell phone and also the vehicle.
Police receive a hit that the car is about 30 minutes away at a location called Lake Juliet.
It was in the parking lot of the boat landing.
The boat ramp in Monroe County was a pretty decent little ways away from where we were at the time.
We're on the way now. We got a line on him. Let's go.
Monroe County officers race to Lake Juliet.
They're really wondering how the couple could have ended up way out there and really concerned about what they're going to find when they pull up.
When I first pulled into the boat ramp, I immediately saw a black car down toward the end of the parking lot, down toward the water.
They see a young black man sitting in the driver's seat, but it's unclear if anyone else is around.
At that point, I kind of figured, hey, this is probably him. I couldn't really see inside the car. The windows were kind of dark. The car was dark. And as I was putting my car in the park to get out to look in the car, he got out of the driver's seat and began walking to the front of his car.
Jadarius Watts! Jadarius Watts, put your hands up!
He had his hands in his pockets, and so I asked him to take his hands out of his pockets. I kind of grabbed his jacket, and I began to pat him down to make sure he didn't have any weapons on him.
Just then, another unit arrives for backup.
When I pulled up to the boat landing, they were outside of the car. They had the suspect outside speaking with them.
When Jadarius notices the other squad car, his demeanor suddenly changes from passive to panicked.
Once he saw them, he came out of his jacket, just flung around out of the jacket and took off running.
The suspect bolts and he runs to the dock, jumps in the water. We all go down to the dock. As he hits the water, he immediately turns around and asks for help because he cannot swim.
Help! He is near drowning as the police are able to recover and pull him out of the water.
Come on, man, come on!
I got down on my hands and knees, put my right hand out, grabbed him, and picked him up and pulled him up out of the water. It's kind of like something you would see off TV, you know. When he got up out of the water, they placed him in handcuffs.
Listen, buddy. Listen. Here, roll over on your side.
We put you at notice to keep you from doing what you just did. I'll never forget, he just kept saying, hey, y'all put me down. Man, just take me out. Just put me down.
Listen to me. All this ain't necessary, okay? You hear me?
They put me down.
I need to know where your girlfriend is.
At this point, I'm thinking, hey, he's done something. You don't run for anything.
And finally, Jadarius reveals where they can find Toriana.
She in the car, just put me down.
Monroe County Sheriff's deputies have just apprehended 22-year-old Jadarius Watts after his shocking leap into Lake Juliet.
It was just an escape route for him to try to get away from us as quick as possible.
He could not swim, so he started begging for help. They pulled him out, and we had that all on body cam.
Man, come on, you good, bro? All right, listen. Just calm down.
Police immediately asked Jadarius about his missing fiancée, Toriana Proctor.
I need to know where your girlfriend is.
I said, "Where's Tori? Where's your girlfriend? Where's your girlfriend?" And eventually he said, "She's in the back seat of the car."
She in the car, just put me down. What's wrong with her? Kill her? Just put me down, sir. Did you kill her? Just put me down.
Sir, listen, buddy, we're trying to talk to you. Come on, bro.
3 of us around. All right, come on, let's go.
At that point, I ran to the vehicle. I located Miss Proctor there under a large comforter. She was laying down across the back seat.
You could tell that she was deceased at the time.
All right, put him in your car. Get in this crime scene tape.
We kind of had all hands on deck at this point. So we taped the scene off there so they could get pictures and aerial views of that scene.
Jadarius Watts was taken into custody.
I'm just going to tell you something. You do got the right to remain silent. Anything you say could be used against you in court.
I said, "Hey, I need to read you your rights and talk to you a little bit because you are in handcuffs. And at this point, you are under arrest."
Meanwhile, Toriana's loved ones are still at the initial search site.
I guess the hardest part was that the family was actually able to hear my radio traffic.
Anthony, we found him.
For a family desperately wanting answers, the commotion on the police radio is impossible to ignore.
Wait, they found them? They had found the black car, which, at that moment we got excited, where they at, is they okay? And then at that next moment, we heard him say, Jadarius just jumped in the water.
Wait, what's going on? I kind of got silent because I'm like, why would he jump in the water? As if, he was hiding something.
They were asking for constant updates, what's happening, what's going on. So at that point, the scene became a little more hectic.
I'm not thinking she deceased. I'm just thinking she's in the car with him. Something, maybe she's in the car hurt.
I actually called Lieutenant Thompson on the phone and I was like, hey, I need an update on her status because I knew if it was one of my family members, I would want to know as soon as possible. I got to tell the family something.
I looked at him and I could tell how he was looking that, it was bad.
Once she had been located deceased in the back of the car, I portrayed that news.
I'm so sorry they found Tori deceased.
I just, that was the worst day of my life.
Everybody started crying. And then that's when we all went back to the house to inform her mother that he killed her.
My first instinct was Nalani. Her mom is gone. It was definitely a battle because my heart is conflicted between, losing my daughter and then the person that actually took her life was in our life for so long. Never in a million years would I have thought that he would do this to my baby. Never.
Back at the lake, officers searching the car learned Jadarius may have been planning to take his own life after taking Toriana's.
They find a handwritten letter inside the vehicle.
He had written a suicide letter stating that they had both done things wrong.
He said, I'm sorry it had to be like this, but sometimes things happen in life that shouldn't happen.
The letter made it seem like he wasn't really taking full ownership of what he'd done.
But why did he do it?
I just kind of asked him, what all had taken place and, if he was responsible for Tori's death. What'd you do to him?
That's when Jadarius makes a chilling admission. Officers with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office have just arrested 22-year-old Jadarius Watts for the murder of his 21-year-old fiancée and mother of his child, Toriana Proctor.
What'd you do to him? Can you take me to where it happened? Yes.
Jadarius agrees to return to the scene of the crime, and on the way, he reveals more details about what happened.
They took Mr. Watts out to the scene where they had last heard Toriana's phone ping.
He told me they did argue quite often about other men and him with other girls. So there was definitely some jealousy and things of that nature going on in a relationship.
So everything happened in the car?
Yes.
He told me that they were going back to Tori's house and an argument ensued. He didn't remember the road name. He just remembered he pulled off a road.
We were able to draw the conclusion that that phone call that was made just after 9 p.m., I believe personally that was her calling for help. And he snatched the phone from her, threw it into the woods.
You think you threw it over here? Yeah. Where this pond is?
That's when we knew we were in the right area, and we continued the search and actually later on located the actual cell phone.
After Jadarius is taken to the sheriff's office, he changes into dry clothes and sits down to speak with homicide investigators.
You're not under influence any alcohol or drugs currently right now. If you are, you are. I mean, it's no big deal.
I tried to overdose.
Today? Feel okay now, though?
The investigators read Jadarius' rights, and at that point, he decides he's said enough.
All right. Having these rights in mind, you wish to talk to me?
I talked to my lawyer.
You want to talk to your lawyer? Okay. All right, buddy, we can't talk to you no more.
Regardless, Jadarius' previous confession permits officers to take him straight to jail.
Jadarius Watts was charged with murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and obstruction of an officer.
The following day, on what would have been Tori's 22nd birthday, her friends and family gather for a celebration of life.
The day she went missing was the day before her birthday. We actually got together on her birthday. We did a balloon release, did like a big, happy birthday, we miss you thing for her.
It's touched my heart. I know she touched a lot of people within the community. I'm always going to be grateful for my family and friends for being there with me on that day.
The loss is tough to process, but made easier by the fact that Tori's killer is behind bars.
We clearly had evidence of Mr. Watts being the person responsible.
There was really no reason for him to go to trial because he had admitted to the act and he was the only person with Toriana at the time.
However, Jadarius opts to take his chances in front of a jury.
Despite Jadarius' confession, he enters a plea of not guilty.
And on October 2nd, 2023, his trial begins in a Monroe County courtroom.
We were unclear what his defense was going to be. We thought that he may try to say that this was in the heat of the moment, which could lend him a voluntary manslaughter conviction instead of a murder conviction.
But everyone, including the prosecution, is surprised when Jadarius takes the stand.
His attorney asked what happened when he turned down Brownlee Road with Toriana and the baby, and Mr. Watts said, "I murdered her."
The guilt must have gotten to him because he completely flipped the script on his defense team and confessed to everything.
he continued to take the route that he had done what he had done and that she was not to blame for it.
Jadarius admits he had deep insecurities about his relationship with Tori.
Because Lori was asking, why did you do this? Oh, I didn't think the baby was mine. Oh, she was cheating. I'm just like, you knew the baby was yours. She did look like him.
But Jadarius couldn't let go of his suspicions, and it seemed the stress of having a baby turned his petty accusations into rage.
Their relationship appeared to be a great relationship from the outside, but pregnancy had seemed to change that for some reason. When she became pregnant with their child, he became extremely controlling and demanding on whether or not the child was his, even though he had no reason to believe that.
On the night of March 22nd, Jadarius and Toriana got into another argument about the paternity of the baby during their car ride to her parents' house.
The argument got so heated that Jadarius pulled over.
I don't think Toriana had any idea what was going to happen until the defendant turned down that road.
He stated that a dark cloud had came over him.
She realized something had gone terribly wrong, and it was at that point that she tried to call her mom for help.
Jadarius grabbed the phone from her, ending the call and hurling it into the darkness.
When Tori made an effort to get out of the car, he reached over and grabbed her, and at that point, he choked her to death.
It was hard hearing it. It was hard hearing that she had told him that, you know, the baby's here. Why are you doing this? And it hurt me to hear that, knowing that that was my daughter's last word.
From there, Jadarius says he looked at Tori's lifeless body and panicked.
He admitted that he had gone to the apartment to get a comforter that he put over Toriana's body to conceal her body as he drove around Monroe County.
Jadarius dropped off baby Nalani at his mother's house in Macon before driving to Lake Juliet.
He just got overwhelmed, and that's when he decided to take off towards the lake.
But not before grabbing a late-night snack.
On the way from his mother's house to Lake Juliet, he actually made a quick pit stop at a Waffle House.
It's kind of shocking he even had an appetite after what he'd done.
The courtroom is stunned by the brutally honest testimony.
Even as being a prosecutor for many years, I was still shocked.
After a 2-day trial, it takes the jury less than an hour to return their verdict. Guilty on all charges.
He is sentenced to life without parole.
I wholeheartedly feel like he loved her. He still do. And I wholeheartedly feel like he's sorry. And it's just something that him and God got to work on. But I pray for him. I pray that people find forgiveness towards him.
We did get justice for her, even though that cannot bring her back or whatnot. But he would have to suffer the consequences of his actions, and that's what we wanted.
Toriana's parents have since adopted her daughter, and Nalani is now growing up surrounded by a large and loving family.
I'm happy she with us. I wouldn't want her to be no other place, but I'm also sad that my daughter don't get a chance to see the stuff that we see.
I just want to let anybody know who's watching this show that if you're going through anything that's similar to Toriana's story, to speak up, whether you tell a family member, a friend, call a counselor, anybody that you can get a hold of. Just don't let it be too late.
It's always a way that you can find peace again and get your life back. Show yourself grace. When it's time to drop somebody off, you drop them off and you don't look back.
Nikki was my everything. She brought joy to my life. She was a beautiful soul. I just feel like she didn't deserve what she got.
She had been stabbed upwards of 80 times, and one of those almost severed her spinal cord. I mean, that's some anger and some hate.
Originally, it started out as arguments, but then they progressively got worse and ended up becoming physical.
It looked like it spiraled out of control, and she didn't have no control of what was going on.
All that resentment, all that rage, finally boiling over into a singular moment. That was their payback.
On January 13th, 2010, police in Conyers, Georgia receive an emergency call from a sheriff's deputy.
I was kind of winding down, getting ready to go home, and we get a call, maybe a homicide or a death, suspicious death in one of our local gated communities. The way the call came out, it didn't sound normal. So everybody from CID, let's all go. We all went at the same time. When I got to the neighborhood, there was a Rockdale County deputy there who told us that as he was driving, just happened to be driving through the neighborhood, I think he was serving civil papers, that a young girl came running out of a house or up to him saying that her mother was dead in the bathtub. I arrived on the scene, and there was already an ambulance there, and there were two twin girls, Taz and Jazz Whitehead, were sitting in the back of the ambulance.
Tasmia and Jasmia Whitehead are the twin teenage daughters of the victim, 34-year-old Nikki Whitehead. They both seem traumatized and are unable to answer any questions.
One of them, I believe it was Taz, as I introduced myself, she started biting herself on the arm. And I reached up and I'm like, hey, honey, stop. Don't do that. What are you doing? She told me when she gets nervous, she bites herself.
Sometimes people will self-harm. They'll cut, they'll burn themselves, they'll bite themselves because their emotional pain is so strong that they need something else to focus on. So they will inflict physical pain onto themselves so they don't feel that emotional turmoil.
Detectives decide to let the girls calm down, so they go to investigate the crime scene.
I walk in the house and I can see on the floor, there's blood all over the floor. Big stain, blood up all over the walls. We found the victim, Nikki Whitehead, in the bathtub. She had a nightgown on, there was water in the tub.
She has suffered multiple stab wounds to her head and upper body.
I've been in law enforcement 36 years, seen a lot, done a lot. SWAT, DEA, I've done all that. And this was perhaps one of the bloodiest scenes I'd ever seen. I close my eyes, I can still visualize the room quite clearly and where she was found.
The brutal nature of the crime makes police wonder, who could have hated Nikki enough to do this?
To me, this is really an up-close and personal crime. It really shows there's a lot of intimacy between the perpetrator and the victim.
Nikki Whitehead's life had been difficult from the moment she was born.
Nikki didn't have a great life. She was born in prison while her mother was serving a stint for prostitution and drug possession.
Nikki was sent to live with her grandmother in Decatur, Georgia, but it didn't feel like home.
Nikki felt like she was the black sheep of the family. She never understood why she was being raised by her grandmother and not by her mom. So that is something that she It troubled her. It bothered her.
To be separated from a parent at such a young age must have some type of impact on who you are as a person.
But as she grew up, Nikki didn't let it break her.
You had to know Nikki as a person because she brought so much joy, to my life. She was a very funny person. She was a jokester. She was creative. She was a very fun, loving person. She was beautiful, had such a beautiful spirit.
Nikki's grandmother did her best to prevent her from going down the same path as her mother. But in her teens, Nikki began to act out.
Nikki and I, we did things that we shouldn't have been doing at the age that we were doing it. We were teenagers.
All she really wanted was her mother's love, and she never got that. Instead, Nikki started looking for love in all the wrong places, hanging with the wrong crowd, with the wrong men. Nikki's grandmother, Della, tried to discipline her, and it didn't go over well. At the age of 16, she ended up moving out of her grandmother's home. She was bouncing around from place to place.
Then, at 17, Nikki fell in love with an older man.
Nikki and I would venture out to his club, not knowing that he was the owner of the club. He had interest in Nikki. They started dating. Shortly, it didn't take any time for Nikki to become pregnant.
It looked like Nikki was going to have a family of her own, but her boyfriend had different plans.
She told the father that she was pregnant, and he basically blew her off and didn't want anything to do with her. And that was when she also found out that he was married.
Nikki decided to go through with the pregnancy anyway.
In 1993, when she was only 18, Nikki gave birth to two beautiful girls, Tasmia and Jasmia.
We didn't know that she was carrying a set of twins. One was a split image of Nikki, and one was a split image of him.
Over time, the stress and responsibility became more than Nikki could handle.
Nikki really felt that she missed out on doing the things that a young adult would do. On the one hand, she has these two children that she needs to raise and be a mom, but on the other hand, she herself wants to enjoy life, and that really put her in a very difficult position.
Knowing that Della would take care of the twins, Nikki started living the fast life again. She began hanging out and drinking.
That meant the twins didn't get to spend much time with Nikki, but Della worked hard to try to make sure they grew up right.
Thanks to Della, the girls began to thrive. They were very well behaved and excellent students.
You had one that liked to play the piano. You had the other one that was a dancer. They was very mannerable, respectful. At the time, they were still saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Yes, sir, and no, sir. So, that speaks volume.
The twins didn't really view Nikki as an authority figure because she hadn't really been that way to them up until this point. Instead, she was like the fun, loving older sister.
Nikki had started off kind of rough. She was a young mom, and she still wanted to party like most young people want to do that are thrown in a situation where I got to be an adult all of a sudden. But, over the 15, 16 years of her daughters, she had finally realized she wanted to straighten herself out.
As she got older, she really wanted to be more of a mother figure in the girls' lives.
So did her new boyfriend, a long-haul trucker named Robert.
He was 30 years older than she was, but I think Nikki thought that this provided her the stability that she needed in her life. Robert really cared about Nikki's daughters, and he really wanted to be a father in their lives. And so he suggested that they move in together.
The transition from being a fun older sister to a disciplinarian would be tough, however.
And what Nikki was trying to teach and preach to them, do as I say and not as I do. And I don't think the kids took heed to that.
But Nikki was determined to give the girls a good, stable life.
for Jazz and Taz to be finally reunited with their mom, and then for them to have the rug pulled out from under them and find her murdered. There are no words. It's completely devastating.
After Nikki Whitehead's teenage twin daughters discover her stabbed to death in their home, the girls are taken to safety as investigators search the house for evidence. In the living room, they find a broken vase with blood on it, but knife wounds on Nikki's body indicate that she was stabbed to death.
There was not blood seeping from the wounds in the tub, so we were able to surmise that the majority of her wounds had occurred outside and that she'd done most of her bleeding before she was put into the tub.
I've been involved in some shootings and things that were pretty bad, but this was, it was just, there's blood all over the house. In the carpet, all through the bedroom.
The bedroom was, that's where it took place. You know, it was like she was dragged, like you could see the body on the carpet where she was, you know, she was dragged into the bathtub. So yeah, it was something that it was out of a movie.
The field crew was working on checking every garbage can, every drain pipe, looking for a murder weapon. We checked the house. And of course, like any house, the house had numerous knives in it, so we had to collect them and test each one for blood.
There was no signs of forced entry anywhere in the house, and the garage was down and locked. The back door standing open as if somebody went from the inside out the back door.
And there, bloody prints left by bare feet.
The police saw a trail of blood going to the neighbor's house. So now the police must interview the neighbor as a potential suspect.
I find blood on the door frame. I'm like, okay. So bang on the door, bang on the door. A gentleman answers the door. I tell him who we are, why we're there, and he kind of already knew what was going on. I'm like, hey, we've got blood on your door right here.
He told us that that morning he had been listening to a popular Atlanta radio station, and that he did hear somebody ring his doorbell and heard screaming, but that he just didn't respond to it. We surmised that the bare feet leading out had been Nikki, and that at one point she had escaped, made it to the neighbor's house seeking help, and that someone had drug her back into the house.
Police think the sounds the neighbor ignored may have been Nikki's last desperate cries for help.
Asked him why he didn't open the door. He didn't answer. Pretty much just said it wasn't his business. He didn't want to be bothered. And that's sad because, you know, if he had called 911, she very well could be here today.
When detectives are finished at the crime scene, they return to the precinct where Rockdale County sheriffs have taken Nikki's twins.
So I have the girls in an interview room, asking them what had happened and how they found their mom, and asked them to start from the beginning. They said they left for school that morning at around 7:30 in the morning.
Can you tell me what happened when you got home today?
I just over to the bus. I noticed that gate was open. So I was like, why the gate open?
And you walked in and what happened?
To the kitchen, I put my stuff down, and I went to her room. And so I seen the blood all in there on the floor. And I went in there and I seen her.
What room is she in?
In her room.
Her room? Is she on the floor, on the bed?
She's in the bathtub.
In the bathtub?
And they found their mother in the tub and then ran out, saw the sheriff, and flagged the sheriff down.
When I asked the girls who they thought may have hurt their mother, they said maybe Joe or Robert. These are two men that their mother dated both of them and talked with them a lot. Robert was the actual live-in boyfriend. They lived at Robert's house. This was his house that it happened at.
Nikki's daughters revealed to police that she'd been cheating on Robert with a man named Joe.
When the twins told us about the two boyfriends, that made both of those men possible suspects because it gave both of them possible motive.
Does Robert know about these other guys that your mom sees?
Probably not. Like they stay together, but like when she talk about him and other people, she say my friend Robert. He like 60 something. He like a sugar daddy.
Things were good between Nikki and Robert for a while, but unfortunately, as a truck driver, Robert wasn't there all the time, and Nikki was alone and lonely.
In many ways, Nikki found it difficult to have a stable life. She always ran from stability. She was dating a man who was a trucker, who was in and out of her life. Again, very unavailable emotionally because he wasn't there, which is really what her mindset was. But then she has this other guy.
Robert was many years older. Joe was more Nikki, the victim's age.
If Nikki cheated on Robert, it's possible Robert flew into a murderous rage when he discovered what was going on.
When's the last time you saw Robert?
Yesterday he left. He came in on Sunday. He stayed for a day. He left.
We contacted the company that he worked for, and they began getting us the truck's GPS information. Robert returned to Conyers immediately. He explained his relationship with Nikki was that he expected her to be faithful to him when he was in town. He understood that there was a big age difference and that she was going to see other guys and party while he was gone, but he felt like she had disrespected him.
Robert swears he could never hurt Nikki, and he has an alibi. He was hundreds of miles away on a job when the killing happened, which GPS records confirm.
He explained that he had a great relationship with Nikki, a great relationship with the twins. When we asked him if he suspected of anybody, he could not name anybody that he would suspect of the murder.
So, if Robert didn't kill Nikki, maybe it was his rival, Joe.
There's a second boyfriend, then that brings up motive. So we sent detectives out to find Joe.
After the stabbing death of Nikki Whitehead, Nikki's twin daughters tell police their mother was having an affair with a man named Joe, and she'd spoken with him the night before she died.
The only thing was she was just drunk last night and she was loud but arguing with Joe.
She was telling Joe not to come out there and not to come to her house, and that it had been a very angry argument. So we sent detectives out to find Joe. Joe's a barber in Atlanta, and they located the barbershop. There were several men hanging around out front, and they approached them and told them they were looking for Joe. So they got straight to the point and told them that Nikki had been murdered and they were looking to notify Joe.
Joe was absolutely devastated. He was visibly upset, and he had no idea that any of this had happened to Nikki.
He seemed to be truly shocked and upset that somebody he'd been having a relationship with was dead. When we're telling him what happened, it was very honest. He didn't seem to be hiding anything.
Joe admits that he and Nikki argued on the phone that night after she left his house, but not because he was jealous.
Joe broke things off with Nikki because he started seeing someone else and it was getting pretty serious. But he also knew that Nikki also had someone else. She had Robert. And nothing was really going to happen with their relationship in light of those circumstances.
We collected the surveillance video from his condominium, and we did in fact see Nikki come and go, and the times that Nikki came and left were consistent with what he said. He allowed us to examine his body, his hand, his arms. We knew from the crime scene that Nikki fought for her life, and we could see from the crime scene that it was not, somebody was toting some injuries from the fight, and he had no injuries. Joe was very emphatic that he wanted to cooperate with the investigation, and when we offered a polygraph test, he consented right away. The polygraphist indicated that Joe had no deception in his test.
With their suspects cleared, investigators interviewed Tasmiyah and Jasmiyah again to go over the timeline of that day one more time. They claim their mother was drunk and stoned that morning.
They told us that when they woke up for school, they were late, and they went to tell their mother they were leaving, and the mother's door was closed, and they knocked on the door, and Nikki didn't respond, and so they went ahead and left for school.
They did miss the bus, but they walked to school. And that's about a 2-mile trip from their house. It's a long way to walk. But they did say they made it to school in time.
The twins say they don't know of anyone else who'd want to hurt their mother. But detectives noticed something odd about their behavior.
They had not removed their coats, they hadn't removed their gloves, and this was a warm environment. Even though it was January, the inside was warm, and so that was non-normal behavior. So we asked them to remove their coats and their gloves, and we noticed that they had bites and bruises and scratches.
I'd asked them what happened. They said they got in a fight with each other, which just seemed really strange to me, knowing that from the crime scene, it was pretty violent. And for them to have these marks on them, it just didn't sit well with me.
I separated the twins and interviewed them separately and used all of the normal tactics of, well, you're not telling me what they're telling me, and these twins didn't waver at all. They stuck to their story and didn't waver.
Despite their suspicions, police don't have any evidence to hold the girls and release them into their grandmother's care. The next day, the medical examiner issues the gruesome results of Nikki's autopsy.
They discovered blunt force traumas that they had. This is not a surprise considering the police found a broken vase on the crime scene. They also found more than 80 stab wounds to Nikki's body.
One of those almost severed her spinal cord. I mean, that's some anger and some hate. That's some revenge and payback going on right there to stab somebody that much.
More significantly, there is one thing the medical examiner didn't find.
Autopsy also showed, contrary to what the twins had said, that she didn't have any alcohol or marijuana in her system.
That was inconsistent, and that was our first indication of deceit from the girls. This was, okay, you're not telling us the truth, and let's investigate this.
Police investigating the killing of Nikki Whitehead ask her loved ones about her relationship with their twin daughters. They discover it was much worse than they were led to believe.
When we interviewed Nikki's best friend, Yucca, Yucca explained that there had been lots of problems between the twins and Nikki.
They was just disrespecting her so badly, and I guess she couldn't control them.
We did find out that the girls were known for skipping school when they lived with their grandmother, and when Nikki got custody of them back, they weren't allowed to do that, and they didn't like that. They liked the freedom they had.
Also, they didn't really want to listen to Nikki because they thought Nikki was hypocritical, because here Nikki was telling them how to live their lives, and Nikki herself had had such a tumultuous existence. Who was she? Was she the moral pillar that could tell them what to do? So as a role model, I think she really struggled to have the moral high ground.
When Taz and Jazz started to rebel against Nikki, originally it started out as arguments, but then they progressively got worse and ended up becoming physical. In June of 2008, Nikki actually called 911 because her daughters jumped her and dragged her across the floor because she was trying to limit their cell phone usage.
When did they hit you? Just now. As soon as she put her hands on me, I went on the call. They keep on hitting me. Then, I might retaliate and have to put my hands on them, And it just be a big mess. So I'm just trying to prevent maybe something bigger happening.
Up until that point, Nikki hadn't done anything about the abuse because she didn't want anyone to know.
In the Black community, it's not often that you see a child abusing a parent. Nikki was embarrassed that she had lost control of her daughters to the point where they were the ones that were abusing her.
These girls were very troubled, and their mother knew it. But in some way, she saw it as her own failing if she couldn't raise them. If someone else was raising them, that she was deficient in some way. But also, a mother has maternal instincts, and those instincts are very strong. So Nikki was not going to give up on those kids, no matter what.
Despite Nikki's efforts, things only got worse. A few days before she was killed, she reached out to her best friend, Yucca Harris, with a disturbing and prophetic warning.
She called me, and she had told me that the girls were just really acting, behaving badly. And she felt like if anything happened to her, the kids did it. It was almost like I didn't believe Nikki, because I'm like, wait a minute, not, the twins, because they never projected that energy or, they never showed that side, what Nikki was portraying to me over the phone.
Yucca told us that Nikki was so scared that she replaced the lock on her bedroom so that she had a deadbolt from inside because she was that fearful of the twins.
In light of this new information, detectives take a closer look at the twins' whereabouts at the time of the slaying. They start by following the path the girls say they took to school.
The detectives that were canvassing on foot made it about a mile away to a gas station. At that gas station was one of the locations that we noticed had surveillance video. On that surveillance video, we were able to see that the two girls had, in fact, walked up at 10 o'clock.
Video from the school shows they arrived there at 10:15, 3 hours later than they claimed. That would have given them enough time to kill their mother.
One interesting thing they did that we noted was the first trash can they came to, one of the twins walked up and discarded something into that trash can. We surmised that might have been the knife, but by the time we actually got to that point, the dumpsters had already been taken to the landfills.
Another search of the house provides more incriminating evidence.
We found shoes that were in the closet that had blood on the outside of them. There was no reason those shoes would have blood on them unless they had been in the room at the time blood occurred. In one of the shoes, we found a tissue. In that tissue was hair, clumps of hair that had been pulled from the head.
Also, what we found during our investigation, search of the girls' rooms, we found a journal. There was a lot of negative things in there about their mom, a lot of hatred toward their mom.
They had written back and forth, sort of like you would text nowadays. They had written back and forth to each other that if we're going to get out of here, we got to get rid of her. And the other one responded, yeah, we've got to get rid of her ASAP.
The evidence seems to be stacking up against Tasmiyah and Jasmiyah Whitehead. After a short investigation, Conyers police have reason to believe the teens are responsible for the brutal stabbing death of their mother, Nikki.
The twins' alibi didn't add up. There were many holes in their stories.
They both had injuries on their arms. These injuries were bite marks and scratches. They both had journal entries to each other where they discussed killing their mother. They both had blood-stained shoes in their closets.
But these are teen girls whose lives have been tumultuous from the start. So detectives wait to make any arrests until the crime lab completes its analysis of the samples collected at the crime scene. Until then, the girls still need care.
After Nikki's murder, the girls were alone. They didn't have their mother, they didn't have their father. They went back to their grandmother, but it wasn't the same.
Jazz and Taz, their lives were filled with chaos. In many ways, they tried to cling back to some sense of normalcy by going back to school and trying to live a normal life.
To those unaware of what's going on, the twins seem to be normal teenagers working through the loss of their mother. A few weeks later, the results from the crime scene come back.
We were able to find the twins' DNA mixed in with Nikki's DNA on the blood splatter on the wall. And there could be no explanation other than they were there and they were injured.
During the interview with the twins, Taz was biting her arm a lot, and I had to make her stop. There were bite marks on her arm that were very similar, if not matched, Nikki, which shows you their mom wasn't fighting for her life that night. The lead detectives finally decided we have enough to present to the DA, and the DA agreed. Now we have enough to move forward and get justice for Nikki.
On May 21st, 2010, detectives arrest Tasmia and Jasmia for the murder of their mother. One of the girls was arrested at Della's home. The other was arrested at her high school in front of all the other students. The girls were really angry when they were arrested, and they kept telling the arresting officers that they needed to go and find their mother's real killer.
As prosecutors prepare for trial, the DNA evidence presents a unique challenge to them.
As identical twins, Taz and Jazz had the same DNA, and so the prosecution wasn't clear as to which twin actually committed the murder, or if both of them did it together.
Sometimes when you have twins, the bond is so strong that one twin will go along with what the other twin wants. And very often you'll see that one of them is more aggressive and one is more passive. But when it came together, it's almost as if the sum of the parts was greater than the whole. And that was a powder keg that exploded.
Prosecutors decide they will try the 16-year-old suspects as adults because of the seriousness of the crime. That could mean life sentences for Jazz and Taz if they're convicted.
This was a situation where they were clearly very aggressively going after Mom, and it seemed like they wanted her dead, and they wanted her dead 10 times over.
The case against 16-year-old sisters Tasmia and Jasmia Whitehead takes almost 3 years to make it to court. But in early 2013, a date is finally set for the twins to stand trial as adults for the killing of their mother, Nikki Whitehead.
With the unsurmountable amount of evidence against them, the twins both know they're facing a potential life sentence if a jury convicts them. So their defense attorneys offer to provide prosecutors with a confession in exchange for a plea to lessen the charge and reduce their sentences. Prosecutors agreed to let the girls plead to voluntary manslaughter if they confess on camera in front of the DA, but their sentences won't be determined until after they hear the twins' entire story.
The district attorney interviews the twins separately, but their stories are identical.
Jazz and Taz claim that their mother had been aggressive with them and angry from the night before, and that it continued into the morning.
She was in there, as soon as she saw us, she starts cursing and stuff.
I think she was mad about us being late for school and stuff. And then she kind of almost like slung the pot like that. And then Jazz kind of put up a moment like that. And after that, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna be clear to say I don't remember everything. It comes in snatches, I'll say. We're fist fighting or whatever. Her and my sister are really fighting. They're fighting and punching each other, things like that. She's on top of my sister, choking her. I can't even tell you what life is at this point. But her and Tad, she choking Tad, and I pick up her base.
Both girls say they believed Nikki was going to kill them if they didn't kill her first.
My state of mind, I believe at the time was defend yourself. It wasn't like it was a fight on the street. It was more of a fight until somebody died.
They had her there against a wall, and eventually one of the knife wounds went into her neck, into her spine, and that's what caused her to collapse.
Authorities aren't convinced the twins are being entirely truthful.
Their confessions were self-centered, made them look as good as you can look in a murder scene, and put some of the culpability on to Nikki.
Jazz and Taz blame that Mom was coming home drunk and high on drugs as probably a way to justify their actions. But what we know from the toxicology and the autopsy is that there was nothing found in her system.
I think the girl's defense was trying to tear my girlfriend down. They was gonna try to tear her to pieces to make her seem as if she was just this awful, evil person.
Regardless of how the fight began, it ended with Nikki dead.
Nikki knew at some point during the attack that she was in the fight for her life, and she did everything she could to stay alive. And we know from the pattern of injuries on her body that she fought literally to the death with every ounce of strength that she had. This was not a case where Jazz stabbed her mom and then they quickly retreated. This is something that continued even to the point where Mom escaped and they dragged her back to finish the job. There's a particular brutality and rage in this crime.
To see your mother die in her own blood, and they picked that body up and put her inside the bathtub and went about their normal day at school, tells me something about these two young ladies. They just didn't care. They just didn't care at all.
It sounds a little dramatic to say, but I said it then, and I'll say it today. Just being with them, you just had a sense of evil in these two girls. They were very manipulative and putting on a show, and you could just feel that there was no real remorse there.
The court agrees to let the girls plead guilty to manslaughter, but rejects the defense's request for 10-year sentences.
The prosecutor was like, okay, we can give voluntary manslaughter, but we don't know if it's gonna be 10 years. And then they heard Taz and Jazz's statements, and they were like, hell no, they ain't getting 10 years. They received 30 years with the possibility of parole. At sentencing, Jazz apologized for what happened to her mother. Taz did not.
They should have got more time than what they got, I think. I just feel like that was not enough.
The girls are serving their time in separate facilities in Georgia. If they're not granted parole, they would not be released until 2040 when they're 46 years old.
A lot of people have looked at this case, and one of the things that they struggle with is to find a real motive. In other words, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of kids who don't get along with their mother. But what about these kids caused them to be over the edge to kill their mother? And I think part of it is the fact that there was rage. Clearly, they did not want to live with her.
I believe the reason they did this was kind of payback for Mom no longer let them roam around and do what they wanted to do, run around with boys and drink and smoke weed.
All that resentment, all that rage, finally boiling over into a singular moment, that was their payback. You have all these different generations of family trying to make it, and they're treading water, and they're trying to get all the help they can, but no one really has been able to break the cycle. And I think Nikki was doing the best she can, and she tried to get help as much as she could, but in the end, it wasn't enough for the kids.
Better position in life.
She'd been meeting with the recruiter.
But then she disappeared.
She would not have fallen off the map.
Even if she doesn't want to talk, she'll text.
Something was not right.
Was she having second thoughts about her future?
Bye. Maybe she just walked away.
She was still trying to find herself.
That can result in like a lot of emotional turmoil.
Was her recruiter actually grooming her?
People were concerned about how close they were.
Maybe he set her up, helped somebody take her.
Stuff like that happens.
Or was it far, far worse?
I was supposed to clean this apartment. I just couldn't believe that this was really happening.
I'm jealous. I'm not sleeping with nobody.
It's just horrible to think about it.
All I could do was cry.
July 31st, 2021. It's Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio, an old industrial city that's reinvented itself as an attractive place to live.
Cleveland has that small town feel, despite it being an area where millions of people live.
Cleveland has one of the most vibrant lakefronts on the Great Lakes.
It's actually quite large and expansive, but there's something about Cleveland where you just feel like it's a small town.
The cost of living in the area is still reasonable, and it's a great place to raise a family.
Family is what brings Akua Avignon to Benny Washington's doorstep that afternoon. She's looking for her daughter, 18-year-old Adriana Barnes.
Benny is Adriana's boyfriend, and she stays with him sometimes.
And it has been more than 24 hours since Akua last heard from her daughter, which is unusual.
She talked to her every day.
Even if she doesn't want to talk, she'll text. So I still send mine, but I don't get one back. It didn't sit right because she's not going to not answer the text message back.
She had also tried to call Benny, but she couldn't reach him either.
He didn't have a phone that worked properly. It only worked on Wi-Fi. And so if you reached out, he might reach back if he's inside the house. But I got no reply.
Even more troubling for Adriana's mother is that today is her birthday.
She wouldn't have missed her mother's birthday.
Ever since she was little, it was her goal to make sure she was the first person to tell me happy birthday.
That's what really had her feeling that something was not right.
Concerned about her daughter, Akua had gone to Benny's apartment.
I went up and knocked on the door.
Hey, Miss Barnes. What can I do for you?
Is Adriana here?
The question appeared to take Benny by surprise.
I thought she was with you.
He was like, she left yesterday. She said it was your birthday, so she was coming home.
One of 5 siblings, family was always important to Adriana Barnes.
They were very, very close to. Whatever room she was in, they all were in together. That was the running joke. I didn't need more than 2 bedrooms because they would find their way together no matter what.
And as the oldest, she always had her mother's back.
If I told my little children, like, hey, you gotta clean your room, you gotta make your bed. If I walked away to go do something else, she made sure, like, hey, did you hear what Mom said?
That strong sense of discipline guided Adriana's plans for her future.
Even when she was in the 10th grade, she knew that she wanted to be in some part of the military.
Adriana was a young woman who had real goals and real dreams.
In fact, those dreams were practically in her DNA.
Part of my plans to go to the Marines, but then I had Adriana, so it wasn't something that I did. And then she did her own research and was like, yeah, this is something I might like. So I understood her decision to want to actually go into the military.
Okay, you sure this is what you want to do?
I'm sure.
Hey, well, I'm proud of you then. Go for it, baby. I'm so happy for you.
She's a young woman thinking about her future.
It was very important for Adriana. Like, she put forth a very good effort. She had signed up for information.
As she neared graduation, she started talking with the local recruiting office.
But would a chance meeting at her part-time job threaten her carefully laid plans?
She met Benny through one of his cousins that she worked with.
I'm so glad your cousin introduced us.
He had his own place, and she still lived at home.
You saw her spending a lot more time over there. She would spend nights there.
This is a young girl that was excited about the relationship.
But even as the relationship turned serious, not everyone approved.
She was only 18 and he was 38.
Everybody had their opinions and we let her know. We had this conversation plenty of times where I told her it's not a good match.
But Adriana didn't care.
It's like, I'm 18 now, Ma. I can make my own life choices now.
Besides, the family figured the relationship wouldn't last.
She made the decision to go to the military.
Adriana was meeting regularly with Army recruiters.
In fact, Adriana had scheduled an appointment with the recruiter the day before her mom's birthday.
She was like, Ma, I'm just gonna go and go over there and meet with the recruiters and do what I gotta do, and then I'll be back.
But now, 24 hours after that meeting was supposed to have taken place, Adriana has disappeared.
Do you know if she made it to the recruiter's office?
She said she was headed over there before coming home.
He said she left yesterday with one of her friends.
You sure it wasn't the recruiter?
In order to make things as easy as possible on recruits, they will arrange for transportation to and from the interview.
Benny said it might be the case, but he wasn't sure.
I'd never seen a guy before.
Ever since she was little, Adriana had dreamed of joining the military.
She was definitely a young woman who wanted to give herself a better position in life and was looking at the military to put herself in a better situation.
Not everybody wants to get out of school just to go back to school.
She'd been meeting with the local recruiting office about enlisting.
But now, after her most recent recruiting appointment, Adriana has disappeared.
Bye. Her boyfriend, Benny, said he last saw her when she left for the meeting.
Do you even know if the recruiter picked her up?
I'm not sure.
He didn't know. It was a million things that ran through my mind. Maybe she had gotten in an Uber and something happened.
All her mother knew for sure was that she hadn't heard from Adriana in over 24 hours.
She'd even missed her mother's birthday.
Akua had said that nowhere in the world she would miss my birthday.
Everybody was going to be together.
Okay.
They were looking forward to the dinner, and she was gonna be there for her birthday.
Instead, Adriana's mom spends the next several hours desperately trying to find her daughter. But it's no use.
I think it was probably about 8:30, after there was no text back, no phone call, there was nothing. And I went to the police and made a report. And They had told me that they wouldn't take it because she was 18 and she's technically not in school anymore. And it hadn't been 48 hours. They weren't supposed to.
Why don't you give her some time? I'm sure she'll turn up.
He kept saying he doesn't feel she's in danger and she's 18, so.
You don't think she had second thoughts about joining the military, do you?
Well, I mean, there were some things she needed to do.
They had told her that she needed to drop about 50 pounds before boot camp started.
And if she changed her mind, she might be avoiding her family.
Audriana's mother swears that isn't the case.
I insisted, this is not like her, something is wrong. If you know her, you know social media is something that she's not gonna go without. She had no social media activity, and even if she was mad at me, this is not my daughter. She's not gonna walk away.
Eventually, her mother's persistence convinces the police.
He was like, I understand because I'm a parent too. And he was like, you know what, we're gonna take the report.
The detective also offered some advice on how to find Audriana.
He gave me some tips on how to get the last location of the phone because we were on a family plan.
But when Audriana's mom tries to locate her daughter's phone, she fails.
Her location's off.
It wouldn't go through because the phone had been turned off and the location had been unshared from everybody. So I couldn't get it.
Does this mean something happened to Audriana? Or did she deliberately turn it off because she didn't want to be found?
Audriana's mom is sure that isn't the case.
She really knew something wasn't right.
Keep trying, and if we learn anything, we'll reach out to you.
Determined to find Audriana, the following morning, Akua reaches out to the recruiter who had been working with her daughter.
I called and asked him if he knew Audriana.
Hello? Hi, this is Akua, Audriana Barnes' mom. Yes, you were supposed to meet with her yesterday.
The recruiter's response takes her completely by surprise.
I don't know her, and don't call his phone again.
And he told me he didn't know her and don't call his phone again, and hung up on me. It makes no sense that if I'm telling you, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with my daughter, you're one of the last people I see that she talked to. Have you seen her? Why would you curse me and then hang up on me?
Outraged, Audriana's mother calls the main office number and speaks to the recruiter's supervisor.
The excuse that I got for him being that rude to me was that he's a young guy, he just started.
Okay, I just want to know if my daughter made her appointment.
The supervisor said that according to their record, she did.
The interview occurred there. There was certain documentation that she needed to bring with her. So we know that she did have her ID and her social security card with her that day.
They had been copied and placed in her file.
But after that, she disappeared.
There was a lot of things running through my mind. Did the recruiter get her? You know, did he take her somewhere?
Audriana's mother passes what she learned on to the detectives and then seeks additional help in finding her daughter.
We have some great community activists here in Cleveland who will help families that are in these types of positions.
They'll contact me, I'll meet with them, I'll request a picture, age, description of what she had on when she went missing. And we brought the team down there and we started warning community searching.
They sent out a mass text stating that we had a missing young lady.
We are so adamant about trying to find missing females, especially Black females, because there's so many Black females missing.
But the longer Audriana is missing, the less likely she is to be found.
We had a sex trafficking ring and a human trafficking ring in our city.
You got people grabbing up young ladies and then they disappear.
After Cleveland police open a missing persons investigation into the disappearance of 18-year-old Audriana Barnes, her mother launches her own search with the help of local activists.
There were concerns that Audriana could be a victim of sex trafficking.
Right now, a lot of young people are coming up missing. And we have different groups that are doing human trafficking right here in this city.
You got a whole bunch of this going on. Snatching up these young kids, snatching up young adults, young people, and putting them on drugs and things like that.
So that's where my mind kind of went, and we were kind of looking to see if there had been any recent busts with sex trafficking in Cleveland.
Audriana's mother and the activists also do their best to raise awareness.
Different organizations got involved with the Barnes family and were able to help them in creating awareness and bringing attention to what had happened.
We put up flyers all through the neighborhood.
We had search parties with numerous people.
Audriana's boyfriend, Benny Washington, joins the search effort at every opportunity.
If you see her, would you please call that number there?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
He called me every day or text me every day. Ma, just checking in, how you doing, making sure you're okay. We not gonna give up, we gonna find her.
Benny and Audriana's mother also search his apartment, looking for any clues to where she might have gone.
I was looking for anything that belonged to her that was there, and I didn't see anything.
While they continue to search for clues, detectives follow up on Audriana's mother's concerns about the recruiter.
I don't really care for the recruiter because while she was missing, it was actually the recruiter that I had talked to that hung up on me.
I felt like it was suspicious, so I just instantly suspected him. I wanted to know his name. I wanted to talk to the recruiter myself, face to face, to see what he says.
He was someone that was not a part of their community, so it makes sense that they would feel suspicious about him.
Maybe he set her up and he helped somebody take her.
Maybe he got her out of town somewhere or whatever, because stuff like that happens.
Not that the detectives reveal any of that when they sit down with him.
We're investigating the disappearance of Audriana Barnes.
Okay, have a seat. I heard she gone missing, so if there's anything I can do to help.
Sure, we just need to ask you a few questions.
Just routine, really.
You always want to talk to the last person to see someone in any investigation and verify what they tell you.
So you gave Audriana a ride that day?
Yeah, we do that sort of thing all of the time.
The recruiter picked Audriana up from Benny Washington's apartment building, brought her out to Cleveland Heights where that interview was. And at the end of that meeting, she was then brought back to Benny Washington's apartment.
You drove her home?
Yeah, I dropped her off, but I didn't see her go in.
However, he does reveal that their meeting hadn't gone as well as Audriana had hoped.
She didn't bring all the documentation she needed with her.
She needed her high school diploma. That was an item that she didn't have with her.
Plus, there was the ongoing issue with the fitness requirements.
She wasn't gonna run. You know, it's just something you can't do in boot camp. You gotta run.
She's a good kid.
You sound like you care about her a lot.
What do you mean?
They were concerned about the nature of their relationship and how close they were to one another.
But the recruiter insists it wasn't like that at all.
It's part of the job. You get to know these kids.
She felt like he was a mentor. And when a young adult feels that connection to an adult that's doing what they see themselves doing in the future or what they dream to do, that can impact them in a way where they feel like they have a connection to somebody that they trust.
You got a person that you can confide in.
According to the recruiter, Audriana had done just that.
There's something you ought to know.
He said it's something Audriana had told him on the drive back to Benny's apartment.
She was telling me how she really needed to get out of town.
He claims that she'd expressed a strong desire to leave.
But it's her reason for leaving town that really raised a red flag for detectives.
She was explaining to me how she was sexually assaulted.
Have just learned the 18-year-old may have been sexually assaulted.
The Army recruiter who'd been working with Adriana said she told him about it while he was dropping her off after their last meeting.
According to the recruiter, the attacker was a friend of Adriana's boyfriend, Benny Washington.
Did she tell you his name?
She didn't, but she did tell me that she filed a police report.
Could the alleged assault have something to do with Adriana's disappearance?
The detectives don't know for sure, but they are satisfied that the recruiter had nothing to do with it.
His supervisor confirmed that he had only been gone the half hour or so that it took to drive Adriana back to Benny's apartment and return to the recruiting office.
The recruiter dropped her off, returned to the office, and all of those things are verified.
Thank you for your time. All right.
Back at the station, detectives are also able to confirm that Adriana had filed a report for the alleged sexual assault.
The report gives detectives the attacker's identity.
His name is Wendell Dixon.
This individual was over to Benny's house and she had went to sleep on the couch. And she woke up to this individual with their hands down her pants.
For him to violate her in that way could be extremely traumatizing.
The police report detailed how Adriana fought off the attack.
She woke up and they began to fight.
What are you doing? Get off of me.
She had hit him in the mouth with a candle and knocked his teeth out.
Benny had rushed into the room, drawn by the commotion.
Benny later told me, yeah, I was gonna shoot him, but she grabbed my arm and said, you can't do that. It's people outside. It's kids outside.
Get out!
Instead, Adriana had called the police and made the report. But nothing ever came of it.
Wendell fled, and the police had been unable to locate him.
But now the detectives are wondering, had Wendell simply gone into hiding? Or had he been biding his time?
Maybe he did something to her in retaliation for her going and trying to press charges on him for what he did.
After uncovering the police report, the detectives launch a renewed effort to locate Wendell.
He shouldn't be on the street. He's a danger and he's a menace to society.
But they're still unable to locate Wendell.
Benny doesn't know where he is either.
And you don't know where Adriana is?
He said she got in the car with some recruiter.
Appreciate it.
But where she'd gone after the recruiter dropped her off outside the apartment remains a mystery.
She's a missing person. Do we know that there's even any wrongdoing at that point? That there's any foul play? It's hard to say.
Meanwhile, law enforcement moves on to other priorities.
They've only got so many resources.
Law enforcement is restricted by what they can and cannot do. That's the case in every investigation.
But Adriana's mother and her team of activists refuse to give up hope.
Me and Nakua would start talking every day and making plans to go out for the next day and who we was gonna talk to and how we was gonna do it.
Other activists would come to help. Some of extended family from my side would come and just put up the flyers, look, check the abandoned houses with us, a lot of things. Just looking for anything, any little thing.
We do the rough part. We go deep within the woods, around the water, and we look. But more so than anything, we pray and ask God for direction. And we allow the Spirit of God to lead us in a direction that we believe He wants us to go.
But weeks turn into months with no new leads.
It was 8 months that went by. That whole summer, winter.
It had to be really challenging for Akua to remain hopeful.
We hope against hope. When we out here looking, maybe she just ran away.
But Adriana hadn't run away. It's March 17th, 2022, almost 8 months after Adriana's disappearance, when the property manager lets herself into Benny's old apartment.
Benny and his new girlfriend, Marquetta Wallace, had been evicted on March 11th.
The way the eviction process works in the city of Cleveland is some bailiffs from the housing court go to the property. Once they gain access, they have a company that comes in and moves out anyone's personal items. Personal property, meaning clothing, belongings, furniture.
The people who do evictions don't evict trash, so they left it up there.
And exactly a week later, the building manager went in to clean out the apartment.
But it turns out that Benny left more than trash behind.
This is Cleveland Police. I was supposed to clean this apartment today because we got evicted a couple days ago, and there's something on the porch. It's a dead body.
A recently vacated apartment.
Is it a male or a female? I don't know. I can't tell.
The body was decomposed beyond recognition.
Little flesh was still on the bone. The decomposition, it was unbelievable.
Despite that, the apartment manager is sure she knows the identity of the deceased.
It's gotta be Adriana.
Adriana Barnes' boyfriend, Benny Washington, had lived in the apartment until recently.
They just evicted him.
And the last time anyone had seen Adriana was outside Benny's apartment.
She was dropped off at her boyfriend's apartment, Benny Washington, and her mother reported her missing the following day because she hadn't heard from her.
Has the mystery finally been solved?
Don't touch anything else. That's all going to be evidence. And the police will come out and they're going to have people to handle it. Okay? And present the evidence. Okay? Okay.
When homicide detectives arrive at the scene, they assume that the body on the balcony is Adriana.
We were pretty confident, once Adriana's body was discovered, that the date of her death was on or about July 30th or 31st, because she absolutely would have been in contact with her mother if she was still alive.
It's just horrible to think about the length of time in which her body was on that balcony.
It was close to 8 months after her disappearance.
Confirming that the body is Adriana will require an autopsy. But first, the coroner's office faces the grim task of removing the body.
She was wrapped extensively. If you think of, a mummification and how those bodies are wrapped and wrapped and wrapped in layers, that is how her remains were. They were wrapped in numerous layers of clothing. There were blankets, plastic shopping bags, plastic garbage bags, and then there was like a yoga mat on top of her.
And it's clear that she had been on the balcony for quite some time.
There was a large stain on this balcony underneath where her body had been that was caused by decomposition fluid. That tells you this body was there for a very long period of time, that it decomposed at that location. It wasn't moved there in the days from the eviction to when she was discovered. This activity all happened right there where it was found.
Word that Adriana may have finally been found spreads quickly.
I got a beep to my phone, and that's when I saw the police pulling the body.
One of the activists had called me and told me that it was all over Instagram that they had found a body at his apartment. And all I could do was cry because I didn't find her.
While Adriana's friends and family grieve, the hunt for her boyfriend, Benny Washington, begins.
The fact that she's found on the balcony of his apartment, he's absolutely suspect number one.
When detectives pulled Benny's rap sheet, they discovered he had an extensive criminal record.
He had been convicted of a prior felony offense of violence.
He's a prey on women and children, the habitual sex offender.
He was convicted and went to jail for child molestation. He's a pedophile.
He was chased out of the neighborhood that he grew up in because of the weird stuff he was doing.
He also had a pending arson charge.
He was somewhat of a psychopath.
But his file doesn't give them any indication to where Benny might be now.
After my daughter was discovered, they flooded the neighborhood with police looking for him.
The detectives also attempt to locate Benny's new girlfriend, Marquetta Wallace.
She didn't come into the picture with Benny until a little bit after Adriana went missing, but certainly had knowledge that she was on that balcony.
Ain't no way possible you could have been in that apartment with that body decomposed like that on that porch. No way possible. And then them days, it was 80 degrees, 90 degrees. Come on, man.
We were interested and prosecuted her because of that knowledge and her failure to come forward and disclose that information.
However, Marquetta does eventually come forward.
After police recover Adriana's body, Marquetta comes down to the station to speak with detectives.
She claims to have vital information.
She knows where they can find Benny.
And when the detectives rush to the location she gave them, it appears she was telling the truth.
He was actually there. They saw him there.
But now that they've found him, the detectives still have to catch him.
When they went to approach him, he ran.
Investigating the murder of Adriana Barnes have tracked down the man they believe is responsible, her boyfriend, Benny Washington.
But when they approached him, he ran.
He's kind of leading the police on a wild goose chase around the neighborhood.
They had to chase him through people's houses and everything.
But eventually the police managed to run Benny down and place him under arrest for murder.
When I found out about the arrest, I felt relieved because it was beating her mother up inside, not knowing what happened to her daughter.
Not that Benny is willing to give the detectives any details once they have him in custody.
Benny did not want to talk. He said he did not like the police and asked for an attorney.
Benny was certainly within his rights.
Although when the detectives sit back down with Benny's new girlfriend, Marquetta Wallace, she is more than willing to give them her side of the story.
Most of all, she wanted police to know that she had nothing to do with Adriana's death.
So, how'd you meet Benny?
I met Benny when he was handing out flyers about her.
My name is Benny.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my girl. What's your name?
Marquetta.
Marquetta. It's nice to meet you, Marquetta.
Nice to meet you.
If you see her, can you call that number there?
Even though she was quote unquote cooperative and was willing to sit down with the police, she didn't admit or really implicate Benny all that much.
And you didn't know the body was on the balcony?
I had no idea that the body was on the balcony.
The detectives have their doubts.
Even though she would give us nuggets of information that might be helpful, a lot of what else she said didn't really seem to be truthful.
No, I didn't know.
And it's hard to believe that she had lived in Benny's apartment for several months and never noticed what was on the balcony.
Stand up. You're under arrest.
At the end of the interview, the detectives place Marquetta under arrest.
She was charged with gross abuse of a corpse. It's a felony of the 5th degree.
And when the autopsy confirms that the body on Benny's balcony is Adriana, the prosecutors charge him with aggravated murder.
Adriana's cause of death was a single gunshot wound to her head.
Will that be enough to secure a conviction when the case goes to trial in May of 2023?
The biggest hurdle, I think, in trying this case is when two people are alone you know, what happened leading up to this murder. Because I didn't have someone who can say he planned it out.
Instead, they argue that Benny was jealous about Adriana's meeting with the Army recruiter.
Babe, everything went so good today.
You laughing? You smiling? How good did it go?
It went really good. What do you mean?
You trying to replace me?
What?
When Adriana returned to Benny's apartment that day, they had an argument.
You trying to replace me?
Nobody replacing you. You sound insecure.
You've been sleeping around. I know you've been sleeping around.
You talking crazy. He just gave me a ride.
Gave you a ride, all right. How many times y'all been together?
We don't necessarily know exactly what led up to the shooting. We know that she shot.
You sound stupid.
I'll show you how stupid.
One thing can escalate to another, and then you got a homicide.
Once Adriana was dead, Benny dragged her body onto the balcony and left her there.
She went in that building and didn't come back out.
Will that be enough to secure a conviction? The prosecutors wrap up their case without putting Benny's new girlfriend Marquetta on the stand.
She was too much of a risk to utilize as a witness at trial against Benny.
Not that it matters in the end.
When the verdict was read in court, he was found guilty of murder, with a number of firearm specifications as well, felonious assault, abuse of a corpse, having a weapon under disability, and he was also found to be a repeat violent offender.
The guilty verdict makes little impression on Benny.
He ain't showed no emotion, no nothing. It was like another day.
He was just sitting there with such a nonchalant demeanor, like he had no care in the world, no emotion, no character, no nothing. He just sitting there, numb.
He didn't even flinch when the judge handed down his sentence.
He was sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility for the first time after serving 38 years. So he's going away for a very long time.
Although no amount of time is enough to satisfy Adriana's family and friends.
I don't feel justice was served. He actually should have had the death penalty. And that's how I feel about it. Because you still have a chance to go up for parole.
Just the fact to hear the word possibility of parole, it'll make you feel easy because Adriana doesn't have a possibility of living no more.
Being a believer, a Christian, I have to, have a forgiving heart. But sometimes it's hard. If it's my child, I would want him dead too.
Benny's girlfriend, Marquetta Wallace, escapes prison altogether.
She pleaded no contest to abusing a corpse.
She received a nominal sentence for that, unsupervised probation.
I was very angry because the judge was like, oh, I feel like Benny took advantage of her too. No, he did not. She knew. She willingly lived in that apartment knowing what he did to her and where she was.
And whether justice was served or not, Adriana's family is paying the price for what Benny did to her.
It broke my family. She's the missing piece. From birthdays to outings. It's never been the same without her. Everything that we do together just don't seem right because she's the missing piece.
Adriana was a bright, intelligent person who would not have fallen off the map.
She wasn't a bad girl. She wasn't out here drinking and running the streets and partying and just seeking men and laying up. No, that was not her.
She had heart of gold. And I'm just